Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. We're jumping right in today because we have a ton to cover. We are unpacking the Freya's Shining Treasure Chest event in Lineage 2, and honestly, it is massive. If you're looking to seriously level up your gameplay, grab some insanely rare legendary gear, and just absolutely power through the ranks, you are in the perfect place. We're going to break down every single piece of this promotion so you know exactly where to invest your time, your coins, and, well, your luck.
Now, right off the bat, before we get ahead of ourselves, I gotta make one thing crystal clear. This entire promotional event, it is strictly exclusive to the active live servers. So we're talking about Kronos and Naya. If you happen to be playing on Classic or Aden, you might just want to sit this one out or take notes for the future. But for you live server players, listen up, because this is your direct playbook. So here's our game plan for today. 1. Live servers event overview. 2. Unlocking Freya's treasures. 3. Enhancing Freya's orb. 4. Time-limited special crafting. And finally, 5. Critical event deadlines.
All right, part 1, live servers event overview.
The event notes literally say, discover Freya's Shining Treasure Chest and open your way to powerful rewards, from valuable enhancement items to extremely rare legendary gear. I mean, the scale of the loot here is just off the charts. We are talking about items that can completely transform what your character can do. But heads up, the clock is already ticking. This whole promotion only runs from April 28th to May 19th. That is a really tight window, which means efficiency is absolutely everything.
Moving right along to part 2, unlocking Freya's treasures and actually getting your hands on that gear. The process itself is actually wonderfully straightforward, but you do need to follow the sequence. Step 1, you just head over to the enhancement gold coin shop. Step 2, for 3 enhancement gold coins a pop, you're going to buy Freya's luxury shopping bags. And the best part? There is zero limit on how many of these you can buy. Step 3 is where it gets fun. Every single time you open a luxury shopping bag, you are guaranteed a Freya's fortune box, plus a totally random drop of Freya's blessing scrolls, usually anywhere from 2 to 10 scrolls per bag. Finally, step 4 is just popping open those fortune boxes and claiming your loot.
So what's actually inside those guaranteed fortune boxes? Well, it's wild. You have a chance to pull level 1 and level 2 dragon weapon boxes. We're seeing Argent gear, epic talismans, and Veneer's talismans ranging all the way from level 22 to 24. Oh, and you could even snag level 10 Eratotone Vise or level 10 soul crystals from Shilin, Tursi, Masia, the list goes on. The sheer volume and quality of top-tier items crammed into this loot table is staggering. Every single box is a real opportunity for a massive gear leap.
All right, part 3, enhancing Freya's orb, because this right here is your key to long-term progression.
You can grab a base Freya's orb in the shop for 3 enhancement gold coins. Just keep in mind it's limited to 1 per character. Now, to actually unlock this massive power leap, you take that orb, along with all those blessing scrolls you've been hoarding from the shopping bags, straight to the head blacksmith in any town. As you invest those scrolls plus a little Adina, the stats just skyrocket. A base level 0 orb gives you a nice little 5% bump to EXP and SP, but check this out. If you push that thing all the way to level 10, which, requires a pretty hefty 2,900 scrolls, you get a mind-blowing plus 100% EXP and SP, a 10% boost to attack and magic attack, a 10% boost to defense and magic resistance, and an extra 5% to all critical hit rates. It's literally a game changer. But wait, before you go dumping every single scroll you own at the head blacksmith, you need to keep one very specific number in your head. 2,500. That is exactly how many blessing scrolls you need to activate a totally separate, incredibly powerful buff known as the Freya's Grace Collection. This actually sets up a pretty fascinating strategic dilemma. Do you go for the collection, or do you focus on the orb? Let's break it down. The Freya's Grace Collection eats up 2,500 scrolls and grants you plus 50% EXP and SP, plus 25 physical and magic accuracy, and a 5% swing in damage given and taken. But it completely vanishes from the game on June 23rd. On the flip side, the level 10 orb takes a bit more, 2,900 scrolls, but gives you a much bigger 100% EXP boost along with those hefty combat buffs. And the kicker? It lasts all the way until October 13th. So, if you're working with limited resources, deciding exactly where to dump those scrolls is probably the most crucial choice you'll make all event.
Moving on to part 4, time-limited special crafting.
You absolutely have to plan ahead for these dates. These special crafting options are strictly locked to specific weekend windows. So May 1st through the 3rd, you can attempt to craft items like Lunaria and level 10 Erutter and Dyes. The very next weekend, May 8th to the 10th, the focus shifts to the Talisman of Glory. And finally, May 15th to the 17th is your brief window to craft the Talisman of Abundance. Seriously, mark your calendars. If you miss these specific dates, the opportunity is just gone.
Now, even outside those specific weekend windows, there is one major crafting option available for the entire event, the Freya's Relic Exchange Ticket. It costs 40 blessing scrolls to attempt. If you succeed, you can swap it for absolutely top-tier weapon relics, like the Freya's Slasher or Freya's Retributor summoning tickets. But take a really close look at that success rate. Exactly 0.1%. That is a massive gamble. And the failure reward? Just one single ether. So the big takeaway here is to really weigh your risk carefully before burning your hard-earned scrolls on a 0.1% chance.
All right, part 5, critical event deadlines. I'm going to get a bit serious for a second here, because there is literally nothing worse than grinding for weeks only to log in and find your items deleted.
You need to memorize these dates. May 19th is the first major cutoff. On this day, the luxury shopping bags, the fortune boxes, and the relic exchange tickets are permanently removed from the game. You must open your bags and boxes before this maintenance window hits. Then, June 23rd, this is when any unspent blessing scrolls just vanish, along with the Freya's Grace Collection buff. Spend them or lose them. Finally, on October 13th, Freya's orb itself gets removed, marking the true final end of the promotion's benefits.
So that leaves us with one final thought as you get ready to log back into Chronos or Naya. Between the fortune boxes, grinding out those insane orb enhancements, and tempting that high-risk crafting, there are so many different paths to power here. How will you wield Freya's power before time runs out? Figure out your strategy, hit that Einhasad shop, and get to work. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.